Good luck to both of you.
Thanks, Wally.
Good afternoon. Good evening. It's finally here. Friday Night Lights, Tournament Champions, Grand Finale. Katie K, Charlie Walsh, Wally, me. This is all you need. This is all you need right here on a Sunday, prime time. Doesn't really make sense to call Friday Night Lights anymore, but we persevere. So let's do a round of introductions. Who are you? Where are you? How do we follow you on social media? How are we feeling today? Are we nervous? Wally, start with you.
I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm drinking Coors Light to calm me down, so I should be fine. I just want to say thank you to John, who has done this show from scratch. He's continued. He's persevered through the birth of his first child and an epic 100-year-only pestilence. So cheers, John. Well done.
Cheers, Wally. Thank you so much. And Wally, as always, is both our gamekeeper, keeping score, and our main source of entertainment. So with that, Wally, I'll bring you back at halftime. Thank you so much. Katie, let's start with you.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm nervous. I thought I was going to have Ian Bishop today, but it is Charlie. So KDK, West Ham United Philadelphia, repping Miss West Ham Philly on social media. Bringing it hard today to recall Big George. So see what happens.
Oh, man, it's going to be a good one. Charlie, what's going on, fella? Who are you? Where are you? How do we follow you?
This is it, John. This is what it's all come down to, okay? However many weeks, October you maybe started the show, I'm guessing, because I remember coming on it around that time. This is how long it's been to get here, right? Either myself or Katie will become the champion of champions. It's going to be winner takes all, best person wins, because let's be real, I'm going up against probably the toughest person. I thought Bish was going to be difficult, right? And it was. I was very lucky to get through Bishop, if we're being perfectly honest. Very lucky. The audience vote saved me. I don't have that today. It's me versus Katie. Winner takes all, Katie. You think you've got the Philly fire. Well, I've got that Hugel heart, and it's coming through in big ways. I'm going to turn that Philly fire into Philly fear. We're going big. We're going hard. Champion of champions. Let's go. But also, good luck, Katie, and thank you, John. You've absolutely killed the show.
Everybody's been extremely gracious behind the scenes in the green room. But there's definitely a little tension there too. These guys want to win this, so I think we've got a good show for everybody tonight. This is Friday Night Lights on a Sunday. This is the West Ham Game Show. These guys will get questions from me. I'm your host, John Nolan. You can follow me there on the tweet machine. They will get questions from me. They will answer these questions. If they answer them in an appropriate way, make good talking points, or maybe even make me laugh, they'll get a thumbs up. Everybody in the chat room also gets a piece of this too. At the end of the game, you will get to vote on who you think has won the game, and the winner of the chat room vote gets 2 extra likes. This is it. This is what we're here for. I think you're right, Charlie. It has been since about October, with a bit of a month sabbatical in there for the birth of my child. But, who's counting that? This is making me more excited than the birth of my child. So let's get right to it.
Oh, gosh.
Let's get right to it. Question number 1. Of course, we have to talk about the Premier League coming back or not. Everybody's talking about it. It's been a talking point in all of our shows for a long time. We're probably all sick of talking about it, but there's new developments constantly, and that is the main focal point for everybody. Karen Brady said this week that all clubs wanted to resume the season. Do you believe this? If yes, why? If you don't believe it, which clubs don't want to restart the season and why? Katie, I'm going to start with you.
So of course they want to restart the season. I mean, it's a no-brainer. For them, it's financial reasons, the obvious. Additionally, I think with promotion and relegation issues, we have to sort that all out. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing at this point. In addition to the TV contracts that we talked about with Sky. And additionally, like players' contracts, what will we do with that? So, I don't see a way around not having them play the games. And I do think that West Ham, wants to have them played. Now, what was your second question? Which teams would want?
No, you don't have to go into that. Okay. If you believe yes, then just list your reasons yes.
Yeah.
If you don't believe that they want to come back, then you got to tell me which clubs do not want to come back. But you're firmly on the yes
Well,
train.
Liverpool, I'm sure, doesn't want to come back. They want that win. So if they're just going to give them the win and terminate the season, of course. But, I think everyone does.
Take it either way.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Yeah, I agree. I think realistically, the decision's not going to be made by, say, players or even managers. Like, they might have a say, the PFA might have a say, people in that might have a say, but realistically, it's made by the owners and the people who are the money men at the club. And obviously, they want it back. Katie's listed off a couple of reasons that are bang on there. You've got the TV money, you've got sponsorship deals on top of that, you've got player wages on top of that, you've got ticket sales on top of that. There's a load of reasons why they would want it to come back purely on financial terms. They stand to lose such a huge amount of money if it doesn't come back in some form as soon as possible. And you look at how on a tightrope a lot of modern clubs are run. I mean, most modern clubs are consistently making losses for a start. There are very few that make profits to begin with. Imagine you add on top of that 70 mil loss, 80 mil loss, potentially more if it doesn't come back. Of course they want it to come back. You look at the clubs like, even if we don't look at it on a money level, I mean, you've got like Arsenal and Tottenham are going to want to get into Europe. Sheffield and people like that have got a chance of getting into the Champions League if it comes back, if they play well enough. You've got the teams that want to stay up and survive. I mean, it just, everyone from every aspect will want it to come back, apart from potentially us. But even then, we've got such a bad, perilous money position that we obviously want it to come back as well.
Yeah, we keep saying that we have a bad, perilous money position. So I'm sure that news is certainly front and center. If football resumes, and we're assuming at this point that it's going to, for all the reasons that you guys have listed, if football resumes, what's the Premier League going to do if one team has, say, 5 players come down with the virus? Does it make them ineligible? Will they be allowed to maybe push their games back? Are they going to do anything for these teams? Charlie?
I have no idea. Like, the truth is, I have no idea. Like, part of these conversations will obviously be what happens in that conversation, what happens in that situation, because realistically, although I don't think the health and well-being of the players is on the forefront of the people's minds, the owners and that, like, it will be on the Premier Leagues. If they drop out, all of a sudden, they're in deep doo-doo. Not just on a level of, oh crap, this club's got 5 players missing because they were training together and then they all spread the virus. Also, in terms of PR, that's possibly the worst thing that could possibly happen. You take the risk to bring these things back and then it all goes balls up. I think whatever happens, it'll be an exact replica of what's happening in Germany right now and what's happening in any country that comes back first. Realistically, I think that's why the decision keeps getting delayed, because I think they would want to make the decision as quickly as possible. If Germany do it and Germany do it well, then they'll go, that's ours, thanks, poof, do it again. And that's exactly what will happen. Realistically, they can't bring it back unless they are 1000% certain that they can prevent that from happening by isolating the players. Otherwise, they are in for huge trouble, because the second one gets it, you have to test the rest of that squad. The team they faced the week before that, the team they faced the week after that, like, it becomes a huge problem.
Katie?
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of talking about this. I hope everyone else is. So I'm going to try and make this as brief as possible. I think that if we resume playing and a certain team gets, 5 or 6 players get the coronavirus, there's no way that they're going to be able to just not allow that team to play. They're just going to have to, stop the season and just call it at this point. Because kind of like Charlie said, what you're going to test every week? You're going to test the players and coaching staff and, the staff there that's working. I mean, we're talking, 300 people on a weekly basis, burning through many a test. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think that if we do start back up, we're just going to be right back to where we were.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate bit about it. I know that you don't want to talk more about it, but I got 2 more questions about this. So hang in there for 2 more questions. The Premier League's talking about neutral game sites. What sites would make sense and why? Katie?
Honestly, I don't think a neutral venue makes sense, because, that's the whole point of having home games and away games. And, it's the familiarity of the field for the player, being home, that energy, how you prepare for the game mentally. Are you, taking the same steps every game to, get out there and have that energy that you bring? So I think having a neutral place would just definitely be a little bit off. I also see no way of them controlling the virus if we do have a neutral venue. It's just, how are you going to know where it's spreading from? So I say no.
Interesting point. Charlie?
I actually believe the exact opposite. I think neutral has to be the way it goes. I see the argument about home field advantage and all those things, but I think in a sporting capacity, the competition is already being questioned. It's already come into doubt. Like, it just is, by the way. Everyone's going to have to play it in a really short space of time. Everyone's going to have to train in weird ways. Like, the sport as we know it will be different. Like, it categorically will be. In terms of where that site is, the reason I feel like neutral is because you have to find the safest site possible. If you look at stadiums are designed to be easy to get to, which is great every other day of the week. Like, that's fantastic. You want to go to a club shop, great, have a wild time, right? Get to Tube Stratford. But we've already seen, not to bring it back to wrestling like I always do, but in wrestling, they've started doing it again. They're doing their shows live, and they're doing it at places which are easy to get to. Guess what happens? Fans turn up. They turn up, they're outside, they're trying to get in. They want to, even if it's a case of not going to watch it, they want signatures, they want autographs. If we think for a second we don't hold it in, say, the London Stadium, and fans turn up to try and see the players, we're deluded. That's going to happen. So for me, we hold it in somewhere like a training ground that's kind of out of the way and difficult to get to. Be it the England one, be it wherever, I don't really mind. I think it's somewhere where we can keep the environment as sterile as possible, as away from other people as possible, to make it as safe as humanly possible.
Yeah, that's a good point. In a bit of twist of irony, it will probably be held where the fucking VAR central location is. They can do all the games down there. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there will be a lot of people that will just show up outside the games, and that's very uncontrollable. So they're meeting again in a week. They originally were supposed to meet 2 weeks from now, but they want to continue the conversation. So it looks like they're aiming for May, I would say, as a restart time. Give me your best argument for restarting football in May. Charlie, did you start last time or not?
No, I'll start.
No, then you can start this time.
They shouldn't, for a start. They should just keep it as long as possible. But realistically, like I said, every club in the Premier League, but also up and down the country and around the world, is on such a financial shoestring, such a financial edge. Everything could go wrong. So the quicker you get these games done, the quicker you can remove the doubt from the situation monetarily. The quicker you can say, okay, the sponsors get their games, the TV companies get their games. Everyone can survive for a bit longer, because the longer this goes on, the more of a chance we're going to see not just clubs like Bolton who are struggling financially, big clubs will start to struggle financially, because again, everyone works on a loss. The argument for me is that the quicker we get that done, the more money can come in, the more people can then think about what to do. Because if we can get through these games, then we sort of have a template of what we can moving forward. And then in September, August, which world's a little bit different, situation's a little bit different, you can judge the measuring stick from there, figure out what you can and can't do, what is and isn't possible. But financially, if it's not sorted soon, there will be serious repercussions for basically every club.
Yeah. Katie?
It's May 3rd. How are we going to play games in May? We have to have proper precautions put in place to get these players out on the field. Again, like I said, the staff, we have to be prepared to, sanitize whatever stadium we want to have them play in, the facilities. Again, like you said, there's going to be fans outside. So I just really don't see it happening in May. I think, if anything, the opportunity is in June. Play 2 to 3 games a week. If you want to play it at a neutral location, go ahead. And then, we're going to be bumping right up against next season. But as long as we can get them all in June and July and the cup game, that's it. That's what I think.
Interesting. Gary Neville was out this week talking about how it should be played. They should finish all the games in a country that doesn't have coronavirus. I don't know how many of them don't have coronavirus. I don't know how many could even tell that they don't have coronavirus. Maybe up in Iceland or somewhere.
Some like random island in the middle of the Pacific. It'd be great.
Yeah. They could just ship Gary Neville off there on his own, and that would be fine by me. But
That's
anyway, moving on from coronavirus for once. Rumors are circulating that we want to sell Aller and buy Batshuayi yet again. Is this a good idea, Katie?
No, I don't think we should buy Batshit or whatever the hell his name is. He's far more inconsistent than Hilaire. I love Hilaire. Got that Spanish style. For those of you that know me, you know I hate Antonio. So I would even put Hilaire and Antonio up top as central striker rather than having Batshit up front. So, you know, that's my thoughts on that.
Charlie?
I agree. I don't think it's a good idea. I think Batshuayi is a decent enough player. I don't think he... How do I word this? Consistency is a key thing. I think Katie brought that up. I think he's not as consistent as Haller is. I think if you look at his last season at Chelsea, for example, was nowhere near consistent. I think he only got like one league goal and was mostly used off the bench behind even Giroud, who's at his age, at his big age. It shouldn't be starting games, and yet he was ahead of Batshuayi. I think he's a good player and he'll go on to have a decent career. But when you look at replacing Haller's this season, right? This season where he's been so bad, it's better than Batshuayi's like last 2 or 3, like still. And this is when he's been bad. Realistically, replacing him doesn't fix the problem. The problem isn't the person up front. The problem is how we set up around the person. Just lobbing Batshuayi in there is not going to fix all of it. If we're going to replace him, we should replace him with someone. We should replace him in the correct way. And Batshuayi isn't that. That's just an offcast from a top club that we should have got when we linked with originally, maybe, but not now. Not now. Also, Haller's younger than him.
Keep going on that thought, Charlie. So if we had to sell Haller, who do you replace him with?
It would have to be someone big. You can't get rid of a star signing like Haller a year after and not replace him with someone who is guaranteed a first choice berth. For me, I don't know how realistic it is. I think it is relatively. Moussa Dembele from Lyon. We've been linked with him before. He was at Fulham originally, did quite well there as a youth player, went up to Celtic, absolutely killed it, was brilliant there, went on to Lyon, and in his last 2 seasons, his 2 seasons at Lyon, he scored 20 goals and 22 goals. Like, the guy is a born striker. He really is. And not only is he great in front of goal, which I think Haller is good in front of goal, it's not that he's not, but what he gives us is that pace that Moyes likes. If you look at, say, Arnie, what Arnie had was... He had the strength and the pace to barge people out of the way. The ball came over the top. He was getting to it no matter what. Dembele has a little bit of that as well. He's not as big as Arnie. He's not as strong as Arnie, but he can certainly hold his own. And if you're putting the ball through, he will get onto the end of it every time. He's the right age. If we spend, say we got rid of Haller for 30 mil, I think we're spending all of that 30 mil again on Dembele, maybe even a little bit extra. But at 22, he will only get better. I think he's ready to make the step into the Premier League, as he's already shown at his last 3 clubs that he can kill it. And then at the end of it, we can do what we should be doing, which is buying people who then we can sell on for double, triple that value later on. We buy him for 30 mil, we can sell him for 60 in 3 years, and then we go and buy the next one. That's what we should be doing. That should be how we should be committing our business. And although I don't think we should sell Haller, if we were, it would be someone in that mold.
Katie, we've got to sell Haller. Who we bringing in?
Pookie.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Go on.
I just think that he would definitely be a player that I would like to see up top with the energy that we have, especially with Bowen and Haller. I just think that he would be really good in that mix.
Just without Haller, though. If you've got to sell Haller off.
Oh, right.
You're bringing Pookie in.
That's right.
That's all right. Keep down that track. Go on.
I just, he's a finisher, and we've had such issues finishing this year. So, I think that would be a great addition. He's just more consistent, and we need that consistency.
Good points. Let me bring Wally back in. Wally, I think we're about halfway through. Who would you bring in if we had to get rid of Haller?
I would bring in Mitrovic.
Come on, Wally. I tried to avoid it. I tried to not say it. I tried my hardest.
Him already said it in the chat room, and I was like, oh, come on now.
No, I bring in Mitrovic. He's a big guy, big target man. I like his attitude too, like pushing, like a Arnie. He'll be pushing people out of the way. So,
how's everybody doing?
All right. Well, we have pretty close here. We got Katie on 11, And Charlie with 14.
Yeah, he racked up some
Right.
that last
Yeah.
go around. I saw.
Well, there's plenty of time left to make your way back, Katie. And
I
again,
know.
chat room, stick around. You will get a vote as well, which counts for 2 likes at the end of the show. We're going into our last. Let's see, we've got about 3 questions left. Wally, I'm going to get rid of you.
Bye, Wally.
Here comes the most important question of the night. What is the most important part of a sandwich, Katie?
Why do I have to go first?
You don't want to go first?
time.
I'm going one to the other. Did you go first
All right.
last time?
All right, I'll go. No, I'll go. It's fine. So here in Philadelphia, obviously, every local will tell you it has to be the bread. That's the quality portion of a sandwich, right? Because of the water. The water here is so great that it makes the bread nice and soft. You can't have a hoagie, cheesesteak, or anything without it being absolutely amazing. It's all about the roll. But I brought something special today. This is really what you need on your sandwich. See? Hold on.
I hope Becky's in the chat room for this one. Everybody
I'm
is
so
cheese
confused
whiz.
by it. It still baffles me. I was Googling it. I was looking it up on YouTube. I don't understand its consistency. It's very confusing to me.
That's a showstopper, Katie. I'm going to give you another like for the cheese whiz.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd give you one. It's terrible stuff for everybody joining us from the UK.
Oh,
You can
gross,
spray
but,
cheese.
you know, I did it for my people. I sacrificed myself.
Amazing stuff. Charlie.
No, I respect it. She deserved an extra life. I mean, it's not something I could do, but I respect it.
Thank you.
For me, it's the bread. You know, the obvious answer is the filling, because you think no one's ever thought I'm going to have a sandwich, but then I'll figure out the filling later. You know, you go, oh, I want a peanut butter sandwich. I want a bacon sandwich. You know, you think about the filling first, but the truth is it's the bread. The bread is the important part, because you could have the best filling in the world. You can have your favorite filling. Me, my favorite sandwich is a bacon sandwich. I'll say it now, right? You put a bacon sandwich on brown malt bread, it's not a good sandwich. That's a bad sandwich. Okay, you've made mistakes, and it's because of the bread. You have to have white sliced bread. It's very important. It's very important. Whereas if you say you go, oh, I want a peanut butter sandwich, you put that on brown malted bread. Now we're talking. That's a decent sandwich. There's a reason why when you go to Subway or any of these shops, they ask you what bread you want, because the bread is crucial. It's vital. Okay, it's vital. No matter what filling you want. John, name whatever sandwich you want. The bread is vital. Also, let's be real. If you put a sausage in two pieces of bread, that's a sandwich. If you put a sausage in a bun and you cut it down the middle, that's a hot dog. It's also a defining trait of a sandwich. You know?
That's a good point. That's a good point too. And I'm so glad you both agree. That's exactly where I'm at. I think bad bread can make a good sandwich bad. You know, like it more so than a bad filling can make a good sandwich bad. I don't know if that just makes sense, but I'm all in. And Katie, you're completely right. Especially here in Philadelphia and up to the New York area, the bread is phenomenal because of the wooder, as you guys say. Oh my God, I'm getting
Charlie, you don't want a peanut butter and easy cheese sandwich?
Listen, I promise you, I will try it at some stage during my life. Will I despise it? Yeah, probably. But we'll give it a shot. We'll see.
I'm sending it to you and Rebecca.
I'm hyped. I promise I will do it. I will give it a shot.
All right.
And it's gonna end very poor. I might get those extra points while he was talking about throwing up. It might be great. We'll do it.
You very well might. All right, we'll roll into the next question. If you could take a player, and thank you to Rebecca for this question. If you could take a player from any other Premier League club to come and play for West Ham, who would it be? And Charlie, it's your turn to go first.
So is it anyone, or does it have to be realistic?
Anyone.
Okay, Andrew Robertson, best left back in the league. We need a left back quite badly. I look at Andrew Robertson. When I was thinking about it, I thought, oh, we need a left back, but would we want someone who's that old? The dude's only 25. He's got years ahead of him, years and years and years. He's brilliant going forward. He's just as good going back. If anyone watches like Hammer's chat videos or knows or hasn't been in a conversation with me and Gio, they'll know I haven't shut up about Andrew Robertson since he was at Hull. Like, we should have bought him before he went to Hull. He went there for 3.5 mil when we got Cresswell. To be fair, we got Cresswell, but Robertson's a better player. We then should have got him when he moved again. Like, he's been consistent, missed opportunity. The dude, he doesn't get as much plaudits as he should going forward because of Alexander-Arnold on the other side, because Alexander-Arnold is unreal going forward. The dude's got a cross on him like David Beckham, right? But Robertson's really, really good. And then coming back, he's added this season. What I liked is he added a bit of bite to his game, which he didn't really have before. He was a bit, I don't want to say lightweight, but it wasn't quite there. Whereas now he's got that side to him where he will make a challenge if he has to make a challenge. He will do it. And that's sort of important in those fullback roles, because if you're on the defensive and you're sprinting backwards, they're the ones with the pace who are going to have to try and stop those breakaways. Robertson is just, he's brilliant. He's the best left back in the league. He's my favorite left back in the world. And so if it's anyone, I would take him in an instant, because it also just solves our left back problem.
Great answer, Katie.
All right. I didn't think about left back. I was thinking more midfield, and I'll tell you why. I would take Aston Villa's Jack Grealish. He's 24, so we have youth on his side. So far, he's scored 10 goals in the Premier League. He's, with a struggling team, so I think that, he just has a very bright future. I also think that would give us strength in the midfield. So not only would we be a threat with our strikers, with Bowen, Hilaire, would also be a threat from the midfield. Because if you think about it, if you are in the midfield and you're outside the 18 and you can score, that's the biggest weapon you could have, because keepers are not expecting that. And, I really think that would add to our arsenal there.
That's a good shout too. Yeah, Grealish is a great player, really. Yeah. I think, unfortunately for us, his next destination may be one of those top 4, top 6 kind of. Man United could certainly use a Jack Grealish, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And I would exchange him with Snodgrass and Hugel. Bye-bye.
Listen, we'll get onto it.
Them's the fighting words there, Katie.
I'll say this to back Katie. Grealish was on my list as well. And I don't want likes for this, John, by the way. This isn't me fishing for likes. Grealish is really good. And the other thing
you're not going to get him.
Good, thank you. I don't want him. No, he's got the assists as well to back it up. He's got the key passes to back it up. Like, he's really good. I mean, I was saying
he's the player that we wish Lanzini was.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Honestly, I mean, that's who he is. He's a really good player. Last question tonight. This is a 4-part question. We'll answer each part individually. So everybody in the chat room, you can start getting your votes in now as to who you think has won the game. Everybody in the chat room, get your votes in now. Who's won the game? Whoever gets the chat room win gets 2 extra likes. So if the following players were a common household object, what would they be and why? I'm really looking forward to seeing what the answers are for this one. So again, if the following players were a common household object, what would they be and why? Robert Green, and we're going to start with you, Katie. Robert Green.
So I think Robert Green, he would be a burglar alarm, just to make sure that he remains dependable and keeps the house safe. So that's what I think Robert Green should be.
I like that. Very good. Charlie.
Yeah, I've gone a similar lines. He's a safe, because he's going to keep the goods you want kept safe. The man is dependable. He's strong. He's a unit. He's just a great man. And you love a good safe. You love a good safe.
Everybody loves a good safe. Charlie, we'll start with you on this one, and this is Tim's favorite person, James Tompkins. So don't let him down. So
James Tompkins, for me, you went on a woodworking course a couple of years ago, and you made a chair. And he's a sturdy chair. He's a good chair. You look at him, he never lets you down. You like sitting on it. It's comfortable. You think, do you know what? I'm really proud of this chair I made. But ultimately, it's not the best chair in the world. It's not going to sell at auction for any amazing amount. But you look at it, you think that is a sturdy, good chair. I've done bits there. It's a homemade chair. I like that. Katie.
I was really wishing you would say, like a thing, because tramp stamp would have been it. For him.
Don't get one for that. That's
so. I truly think that he's like the old CD player that you sold to your neighbor because you got iTunes and Spotify now, but they keep letting you down, and you still wish you had that old good CD player, to play those old jams. So it's reliable, dependable, and you really wish you wouldn't have gotten rid of it. But yeah, that's Tompkins.
But we did.
I know.
Katie, starting with you. Dimitri Payet.
He's like a versatile kitchen utensil. He can cut, slice, peel, shred. He's French. And he's a runner. So that's just pay it.
Beautiful. Charlie.
He slices, he dices, he makes soup.
Exactly.
For me, he's like the sort of statement art piece. Like you go over, you're on holiday in France, and you're in like a little boutique shop, and you see this art piece. You're like, that's a banger. You take it back, you put it on the wall. The whole estate, the whole line, the flipping road are talking about it. They're like, "Wow, have you seen it? They've got this peng art piece." But you look at it, ultimately, you think, I could sell that. I could sell that for a lot of money. But you think, no, it's too big. It's too big an opportunity. So you keep it, and then eventually it just deteriorates and lets you down.
All right, last player. I think anybody could predict this one. Jordan Hugel. What common household object is Jordan Hugel, and why? Charlie, starting with you.
John, I need your help with this one just for a second. Does A, have you seen Antiques Roadshow? And B, does America have Antiques Roadshow?
Not only have I seen it, and not only does America have Antiques Roadshow on like the Old Person Network, they also have an American Antiques Roadshow. So we have double Roadshow.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know Antiques Roadshow, right, I'll explain it just briefly. Okay, every day, every week, it's Sunday, it's prime British television, right? 6 o'clock tea time. It goes around to different cities, different towns, different villages. And the folk of those people come to the Antiques Roadshow to get something valued by their experts. Yeah. So you bring it in, and they bring, I don't know, an antique watch, and they bring it up to the expert, and the expert goes, "Oh, so what? How did you become by this?" And they're like, "Well, it was passed down from generations to generations. My grandma had it, and her grandma had it, and that." And then they give it to the expert, and the expert goes, "Oh, wow, this is from the 1400s. It's worth 300 million pounds." Right? They look at it and they think about it. That's what Antiques Roadshow is. That's what Jordan Hugel is. He's the antique watch passed down from generations to generations. Your granddad had it, then their granddad had it, and they passed it down. And no one ever uses it. It just sits there looking at it. Like you think, oh, it probably still works, but no one knows because no one's actually tried it. It just sits there.
Knows it doesn't work.
Listen, it just sits there, right? And then, but eventually, what happens is an expert comes along and goes, "Oh, it's worth a lot of money. It's worth a lot of money. That's worth a good 300 million." And then it becomes a beautiful thing, a history-making piece. That's what Jordan Hugel is. He's an antique watch that you take onto Antiques Roadshow.
So what we found out here is that Jordan Hugel's been living in your basement, and you apparently are an antiques tradesman.
It was passed down from Moyes to Pellegrini, then to Moyes again. It's passed down generation to generation.
I like that. Katie, Jordan Hugel.
I'll keep it short and sweet here because we all know that this should be short and sweet. He's a chocolate little teapot because he's useless. No one needs him. No one wants him.
Disgraceful.
So offensive. With that, let me bring Wally in. Remind everybody in the chat room, get your votes in if you haven't voted yet. Who won the show? Wally, what is Jordan Hugel if he was a common household object?
Oh, I would say like a flat iron pan, you know. And I'm not sure why, but I just feel like he goes up there and bashes around the front, and but not very accurate, just flat and hard. That's what I got.
I did include. I was thinking about including a question about him this show because he had some comments this week that was saying that he wanted to come back and prove himself. And I never thought about it before, but it was Moyes that brought him in, right? So Moyes is back now.
Yeah.
Come on, John.
I wonder.
You know what the right answer is, John. Let's bring him back. Come on. Come on.
Has everybody got their votes in, Wally? What's the score?
I think so, yes. I think we got so.
You get to crown the champion.
Oh,
Wally.
come on, Wally.
Wow. We've got some massive scores here, unprecedentedly high scores. We have Katie with 21 and Charlie with 23. So once again, it depends on the chat room vote, which is a tie. So they both get one. So Charlie,
you won.
the winner.
Come on.
My
the
God, look at
Friday
that.
Night Likes.
There we go.
Oh,
I don't want to hear it.
Well done, well done. Let me boot these guys for a second, and Charlie, you get to address the Friday Night Lights faithful. I can't even talk. I'm so excited. Address the chat room. Give us your victory speech. Do you want to thank God and your parents and everything right now?
No, I'm not interested. I want to
go
thank one man, John, and one man only. I'm not interested in God. I'm not interested. My mum, she's about in the house somewhere. I'll thank her later, maybe. Jordan bloody Hugel. Okay. I said it from the start. If you go back to the first episodes of this I was on, I probably had Recall Big George in the comment. It's always there. He's always been the driving momentum, I'm going to say, in my life. I'm going to just put that out there. You know, I feel like even when I didn't know, I knew really. I knew deep down. Now, realistically, John, you've absolutely nailed this. Every episode's been great. Everyone will say it. It's one of their favorite things they watch consistently. You've absolutely killed it from start to finish. You should take great pride in it. Look how many people are in the chat getting hyped about the show every time. It's down to you. It's down to Wally. It's down to AHTV. If you don't subscribe already, make sure to subscribe. Follow them. American Hams 3. All of that good stuff. You can follow me if you want. A Top Lad, Return to Wham, Recall Big George. But realistically, follow American Hammers. Get involved. So when season 2 comes round, get involved as well, because you know someone's got to take the crown off me. I guess now. Now it's mine. No, it's fine. So yeah.
Good stuff. Congratulations, Charlie. You
Yeah,
put together a
Congrats.
string of victories, including over Ian Bishop. But Katie may be in the most formidable opponent, I feel like. Katie's always been had some great answers and a chat room favorite, I gotta say, too. People back Katie pretty hard. So and Katie, what a great run that you had as well.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun.
It's always great to get your insight, and I'm sure I'll see you on some kind of Wednesday night when I'm yelling encore in the chat room because I finally get 2 minutes to myself after baby time, and it's 10 o'clock at night, and I want to watch some West Ham content. So with that, oh, and Wally, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for this whole season.
Thank you,
Wally has been here.
My pleasure. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been, and we will be back. Maybe not immediately, but maybe when there's some form of round ball being kicked around faraway pitches, we'll be back. So everybody in the chat room, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been great having you all, seeing your comments. It's been amazing help I've had actually from people too when we've put questions. I've put questions out on Twitter asking for questions. Because believe it or not, it can be a little difficult to come up with questions, especially when there's no football going on. So thank you so much to everybody that submits those too. Thank you for everybody that likes our content, forwards our content, retweets our content, and of course subscribes to American Hammers TV as well. With that, congratulations, Charlie. This has been Friday Night Lights inaugural winner. We may have to make a trophy out of those aviators or something and start sending those rounds of people. So thank you all. Thanks to the chat room, and I'm sure we'll see you on one of these other shows here for a little bit on a Wednesday or Thursday night show or something. So stay involved, though. I'm always open at Twitter handle. Would love to hear from you. So with that, bye. Fantastic. Come on, you Irons.
That's right, guys. Good job. Good job, Charlie.